folks. Got assistant coach Amorrow Morgan here. Jump right into questions again if y'all don't mind the formality of including your name and affiliation. Appreciate it.
Ryan Shumpert, Rocky Top Insider. What made Tennessee a place to come after you've just been at Florida State a month or so?
Yeah, that was obviously the quickest move that I've had in my entire career. But when a Hall of Famer calls you, smart man just ups and goes, especially with me being from the state of Tennessee and just following the program my entire life, but then also the job that he's done, Coach Barnes, since he's been here. I just looked at it as an opportunity of a lifetime, and it's something that I couldn't turn down. I had to pack my stuff up and get out of there.
Been the key with 24/7 Sports, but what does it mean to you as somebody who grew up in West Tennessee, from West Tennessee, to be able to coach for the Vols?
Means a lot. I've been following Rocky Top Nation, obviously, when I was coming up, national championship in football, and then just seeing, Coach Peterson and Coach Pearl and all those guys as I was growing up, and some of my former teammates as I grew up, and Bobby Mays and JP Prince, and following their success here, and just seeing the support just from this community in Knoxville just my entire life, and just having an opportunity to come here and just be able to help where they need. This is a dream come true for me. Big time Tennessee guy, always been a Tennessee fan. I know it's kind of like weird to say coming from where I'm coming from, but man, just super excited to be rocking this orange, and excited to continue to keep moving the program in the right direction. Sure.
What have been your first impressions of this roster for next season?
Yeah, so obviously we hadn't been here very long, and just seeing some of the guys, get in the gym and sitting in our first team meeting, I was really impressed just with the leadership from the continuity that we do have. The returners, just some of the things that they've said about their time here. Some of those guys have played elsewhere, and you can just see the love that they have for this place and the love that they have for the staff. And just hearing them talk about what we need to do in order for us to accomplish what we want to accomplish, which is, making a Final Four run, winning the national championship. So just for one, hearing their mentalities, I've been very, very impressed with. But then also just their work ethic. Like every time I walk in here and practice, someone's in the gym, and it's a different guy. They're all hungry. They all know that, what the foundation that was laid before them, and they know it's a hard act to follow, so they're coming in with the right mindsets, ready to go. So I've been really, really impressed with their work ethic, and I've also been impressed with their mentalities.
Ryan Sylvia of Our Report, just what's it been like to work alongside Rick so far?
It's been incredible. Obviously, he's hilarious. He's a loving dude, demanding dude. Obviously, he's one of the greatest of all time. There's not many guys that are still remaining in our profession that's done what he's done. So I'm excited to just, I'm all eyes and ears to learn and, be a sponge and do exactly what he needs in order for us to do what he hopes and envisions this program to do to, make the community of Knoxville proud. So.
Grant, with on three, your head coach at Florida State basically said he didn't blame you for leaving, and he would do the same thing probably if he was in your shoes. Like, does it make it easier to make that kind of move, kind of having his support, blessing, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Luke Laux, he's a pro. Like, he's been in the NBA for a long time, and he is going home right to Florida State. He's from Tampa, so he understood the importance of what it's like going back to your home state, getting closer back to your family. He understood. He was in full support. I think I did a pretty good job for him in the 6 weeks that I was working for him. We got there, we had 2 players. I left, we had 11. So if we had 4 players at the time, he might not have said the same. But we were, him and I still talk. I actually saw him on the road. It's funny because Coach actually saw him at Dick Vitale's deal down in Florida, like maybe that weekend after, and Coach Laux was texting me. He was like, "This guy just big brothered me," or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? But he really enjoyed. He was just the same as I. He was excited to be able to sit down, next to a Hall of Famer, and be able to pick his brain just the same.
Mike Wilson, Knoxville News Sentinel. How long does your relationship with Rick go back now? And were there previous points where this might have been on your radar as a place you'd like to land?
Yeah, I wouldn't say as long as others. Back in 2021, I was at South Alabama at the time. I came in and I interviewed here. That's when they hired Rod Clark, and I think I just happened to make a lasting impression. He definitely made one on me, and just the culture itself, and the guys that were here, getting a chance to talk to them, and just see how this thing is ran, just be a part of it for a day. And Coach is the best, man. He drove me around and showed me around the entire, area, city, campus, and made me feel like I was, part of the family even before I was, so that made a lasting impression on me. So I kept in contact with them, and kept in contact with some of the guys on staff over my time at Loyola Chicago and at Cal. And then when the opportunity presented itself, I think it all made sense.
Reese Manhattan, WATE. You said that coach, when a Hall of Fame coach calls you, you have to answer. What were those conversations like, and what did Barnes kind of sell you on? You kind of touched on a little bit, but what did Barnes sell you on to get you here?
I'm gonna be honest, he didn't really have to do much selling. I think his body of work and just what he's done over, his time here, the 10 years that he's been here, has just been incredibly remarkable. Especially for me, watching and witnessing the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of the program, just over my lifetime, just the consistency that he's been able to have here, just right away. Like for me, it was no selling. I had already had a conversation, with the wife. My wife already knew that if an opportunity like this at the University of Tennessee ever presented itself, no matter if I'm there for 10 days, we probably got to up and leave. So I'm super excited to be here and excited to learn from him. Obviously, he's the absolute best.
So is it hard to get out of your lease in Tallahassee, or did you have a lease here? What was that process like?
I was a little stressed about that. I was, because I did sign a lease when I was there, but they let me out pretty quickly. They understood, just because it was a relocation deal. I was on websites, ChatGPT, just looking at all these different things, just worried about like being able to break your lease in Florida, and the people ended up being understanding. And I got out of there, and I didn't lose too much money.
Did you tell him a Hall of Famer called?
Yeah. I did tell him a Hall of Famer call, but maybe I would have came out of there unscathed. They took a little bit of my money though on my way out.
What does it say about Tennessee's program to be one of two that didn't lose a player to the transfer portal this offseason?
I think that's absolutely incredible. I just think that speaks volumes to just obviously Coach himself, just how much he loves on the players, how much he's around the players. I got a chance to see that, up close and personal before I came here, just how tight-knit of a group this is. And then on top of that, just the staff itself, getting to know them, being out on the road, with Coach Polinsky and, his background, and, getting to know Coach Gainey. Both of those guys, so much head coaching experience and potential head coaching experience on this staff, to be able to learn from those guys. So just knowing how they do things on a day-to-day, it all makes sense that no one should ever want to leave this place. You have everything from the resources, you have the financial backing, you have arguably, I would say, just from sitting in one all-staff meeting, the best AD in the country. Obviously, the city of Knoxville is beautiful. It makes sense why no one would want to leave this place. So I'm not surprised at all.
Any prior relationships with any of the guys on the roster?
Yeah, just the transfer portal, just, guys hop in, man. That's just the nature of the beast right now. You just, banging out the texts and just reaching out, and reached out to several of them actually over my time. Some of them when I was at, South Alabama. Some of these guys have been in school 5-6 years now. But I actually recruited Jacoby Gillespie really, really hard when I was at Loyola Chicago. And he ended up at Belmont and ended up being a phenomenal player. So it's all come back full circle. It was pretty cool that when I did get hired, he was like, yeah, finally, coach, so it was pretty cool messaging with him that I'll be able to actually work with him every day, knowing, how special of a player he is.
Anything else? All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.